Sukarno was determined to absorb Netherlands New Guinea into Indonesia. Rebuffed by the West, Australia included, he turned to the communists.
Mr. Khrushchev, making a brief call at Bali, was rounding off his 12-day tour of Indonesia. A friendly and attractive welcome had been laid on for him in the famous island. No doubt Indonesians were delighted with his offer of a huge credit in return for neutrality. Anyway, they put on a good show in his honor. But Mr. K was rather tired and very, very hot. President Sukarno evidently noticed it and tried to cheer him up by decorating him with a flower. Strange customs they have in the Far East. But when in Bali, do as the Balinese do.
With the Cold War at its height, now worried about losing Indonesia to the communists. So they courted Sukarno and leaned on the Dutch. In 1962, President Kennedy persuaded the Dutch to hand over their colony to Indonesia. The deal was brokered at UN headquarters in New York and was called the New York Agreement. The Indonesians would take over from the Dutch under United Nations supervision. But there was one major proviso. Within 5 years, there would be an act of free choice for the Papuans to go it alone or remain with Indonesia. Hollandia, late 1962. The Dutch flag and the West Papuan Morning Star come down together. For the Dutch, a hasty and unceremonious retreat. For the indigenous Papuans, a Cold War sellout.
We were devastated because the New York Agreement was arrived at without the involvement of the Papuans. Right from the beginning, from the process leading up to the ratification of the agreement itself in August 1962. So it was just an imposed agreement. I think the Dutch had vigorously worked out a program, a 10-year program for independence, and suddenly they more or less walk out, and we felt betrayed.
As I conclude this report, sir, the atmosphere here is one of uncertainty and sadness. The joy of living has gone from the community. Dutch families are leaving with a few days' notice. A considerable number of West Papuans are bound to be resentful if the territory is handed over to the Indonesians without an opportunity for self-government guaranteed. Indeed, sir, an unhappy business. P.J. Mollison, Australian Liaison Officer, Hollandia, December 1962.
Some people accused the Dutch of treason. We had promised them independence and now we were handing them over to another country. And they were not happy with that at all.
Today, President Sukarno of Indonesia began a triumphal inspection of newly won West New Guinea, which he'll take over from the United Nations later this week. During his tour, he visited the capital Sukarnapura, formerly known as Hollandia, and Merauke, which is near the Papuan border. Pat Burgess, Sukarnapura, April 1963, filing for Reuters news agency.
They came as winner of a war, not against the Dutch, but against West Papuans. So they walked in, they come in, and they go everywhere with their full, like on war, on the Battle of the Dam. The Indonesian military came in, led by militia. They were the informant. They are the one who pinpoint who the military should beat, should shoot, or should arrest. So one time they came to me. So I was grabbed on my throat. And then I was trying to look at back who was playing with me. But then quickly the bicycle chain landed on my left cheek. And then the hole was cut all the way down. And then it's not only me. So many upcoming students, promising leaders were beaten up, like my experience. Some even shot dead.
President Sukarno announced that there would be no act of free choice. By 1965, Indonesian authority was firmly entrenched in the new province. But Sukarno's glittering victories were not enough to save him from the ambitions of others.
I, President, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Indonesia, appoint Major General Suharto, President, and I appoint him as Minister, Commander of the Army.
Within 2 years, General Suharto had become President Suharto and had taken complete control in Indonesia.
A vote of self-determination in 1969